nothing's changed in our building. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna go prove a lot of people, wrong this year.
All right, I'm Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated. We got Jets star receiver Garrett Wilson here. Garrett, let's start with what you're here for. You're here on behalf of Dr. Teal's and the job they do for athlete recovery. So tell us a little bit about the work you're doing for them now.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited to be working with them for another year. It's something that for me dates back to middle school. My mom was big on the Dr. Teal's, the lavender salt, and I took that upon myself to do it as well. So in middle school, before every game, I would take an Epsom salt bath, and now it's 2 days ahead of every game I do one. And really, it's just for me, it's something that I need for my recovery. It's powered by magnesium, which is really good for athletic recovery. And it's something that, for me, if I don't do it, I don't feel right on Sundays. So, I'm really excited to be working with them.
Okay, well, you talked there about stuff you've learned over the years. I'm sure you learned a lot last year. So I want to start just kind of with you personally, coming off of, the big rookie year you had, being offensive rookie of the year and all the rest of it. I'm sure you had big plans for what 2023 was going to look like with Aaron coming in and everything else. So I just want to start with you personally and what individually you took from the 2023 season, and if there's anything you learned that you think is going to make you a better pro.
Yeah, I feel like this league is a tough league, man, and that was evident last year with obviously our high expectations, and then it things changing early in the season, and what I took away from that is just I got to be bulletproof, right? I got to be the same Garrett. No matter who's out there slinging it, I got to find a way to take advantage of every practice week, get better for myself, right? Because you never know who's going to be out there, and that was my main takeaway. And I feel like because of that, I'm a better football player. So, with that, now having someone like Aaron, back, it's only gonna help me. I'm that much better because of what I went through, because of just you got to be malleable in this league. You got to be able to figure it out no matter what card you're dealt. And that was my main takeaway last season.
Yeah, I've had interesting conversations about this with Kyler Murray, who, I remember talking to him about how, he rarely ever lost growing up. Like he played at Allen in Dallas, and I think he was 45-0 as a starter, and then goes to Oklahoma, and they almost never lose there. Spent the year at A&M, and it was a real adjustment for him getting to the pros and having to deal with losing on a day in, day out basis, especially early in his career when they were losing a lot. I assume you've had something of a similar experience where you came from really good programs. How difficult have the last couple of years been for you, where maybe you've had to deal with losing at a clip that you never had to before in your life?
Yeah, it's been tough, man. And like I said, this league is a hard league. You got to show up every Sunday. You got to get something out of every practice week, or they'll expose you, the next week. And it can be challenging, to find that beauty in it when you're losing. But I think that encourages the competitive side of you to come out even more, which is a good thing. I feel like you got to be ready when that time does come. You don't know when it's going to be. It's not guaranteed because you're on a team. It's not guaranteed because you went to Ohio State or this high school. You're not just going to inherit this winning atmosphere. You got to go out and do it. And there's a lot of beauty in that. And I feel like we're ready for it now. I'm excited. It's another opportunity, another year to go out there and prove the world wrong for what they think of the Jets, right? And I know we take a lot of pride in that in our facility. But like you said, it's been a rough go as far as winning these first 2 years, and I truly think I'm a better person, better player because of it. And yeah, like I said, I'm ready for that time to flip. I'm ready for it to flip.
I've talked to your coaches about this part of it too, that it feels different around the team this year. And I think Robert's trying to create that where it's more just let's keep this about football. And I know like last year, I think anybody who was around your team in the summer last year felt like you're almost like part of a show, right? And you had Hard Knocks there and big crowds at every practice and all of these expectations. Um, how is the feel around the team different this year? Like if there's been an evolution for in the locker room as a whole, how are the 2024 Jets different than the 2023 Jets were at the same point in the year?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the noise outside of the building has quieted down a little bit, but as far as the expectation and the noise inside the building, the excitement, nothing's changed. We feel like we're ready to go. We just gotta go out and do it. Feeling one way and going out and doing it are two separate things. So the distractions are real, and last year we had some, and I'm not to say I'm not saying we weren't ready for that. I'm not saying that. Um, we couldn't have had a good season because the Hard Knocks was there. No, and it's just nothing's changed in our building. We expect to go out and win games. We expect to get to where we want to go. It's just maybe the outside noise isn't as loud, and I think that's a good thing. And um, yeah, like I said, we're gonna go prove a lot of people, wrong this year.
Where are you guys better as a team?
Up front in the trenches,
Mhm.
I feel like that was the number one thing we had to figure out, and they did. They went about it the right way in the offseason, and we'll be a better team because of it for sure.
The cameras caught you, and I'm sure you saw it on social media or whatever. The cameras caught you and Aaron getting after each other a few times in training camp. I assume that's just part of getting better. Can you give me like kind of an idea of how that relationship between you and Aaron has evolved, and in those moments where things get a little hot, what you guys are working through?
Yeah. Those are those days that we have the fans come out and they can see our practice. That's rare for people to see people doing their job, the prep for their job, and see it organically, right? And truly I believe that's what it takes, conversations like those. Um, and I'm blessed to have a quarterback that I can have conversations like that with and truly learn something and take away something every time we have them. But yeah, that's going to be the reason why we are on, we're on when we play. It's because of conversations like that. It's not always going to be pretty to the camera, right? We gotta, it's a tough sport we play. It's a physical sport. It's a sport for competitors, man. And that side comes out of us when we're out there on the field. And that's what you saw in those videos. And I'm just truly blessed to have Aaron because we can have conversations like that and the ball's still coming next time we leave the field, right? Next time we're out there on the field, the ball's still coming, So it's really cool for me and I'm learning every time we have those conversations. I'm learning how to maybe suppress it a little bit so that it doesn't look that way to the optics. But we got something out of those. We got something out of those and I'm thankful for it. And yeah, things are gonna look how it looks on social media. But at the end of the day, if we go out and play good football on Sundays, all of a sudden, there's not that much weight on that. So um, that's how I see it.
You were already a really good player to begin with. And Aaron's worked with a lot of great receivers over the years, right? Like and guys who are loyal to him, like Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, and obviously Devontae Adams is a great example. Um, how has he made you better? Because I'd assume at this point, when it comes to football, you're constantly trying to chase like the extra 1%, right? Like so where has Aaron Rodgers like materially made you a better football player?
Yeah, just with his football knowledge, he's like having another coach out on the field, except for he can sling it the best of all time, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like with him, if I can just have those conversations when we're in the film room, when we're having one-on-ones, I truly feel like I get better from gaining just a different point of view. He's like you said, he's played with all these receivers. He's got 1,000 personalities that he's dealt with in his career. So that helps someone like me, and I haven't played with the quarterback that's been able to offer that same insight. Um, and then we translate it out onto the field. That's the main thing with him. We got to talk about these things. Once we talk about them, you got to go do it. It can't be a weak buffer of us getting it right out on the field. So just being able to find the right way to go about your prep, which is a huge thing in this league. And when someone plays until they're 40, that's not by accident. He's
Mhm.
he's very intentional with his prep and the way he goes about his recovery, all of that. So I try to take away as much as I can from that, and it's really valuable, man. It is.
Okay, so like then when he was removed from the equation last year, it did feel a little bit, Garrett, like you became one of the, I don't know, one of the voices of the team. And I know like after some of those games, you could probably feel how your voice was starting to carry some weight, right? What do you think going through last year taught you about being a leader and like having when you say something, it means something in New York now,
Yeah, yeah. That everything matters. Everything matters. What you say after the game, what you say before, and the way you go out and prep. If you're going to be a leader, you got to do it every day, every second. You can't just pick and choose. Your team's hearing everything you say. Your teammates, the people above, the front office. Um, everything matters. I would just say that. And when you have a guy like Aaron, obviously he demands a lot of that attention, um, and for good reason. He's a special talent and someone that is just cerebral wise. Like I've never been around anyone like that, man. He's truly, a gift to the game of football. And I tried to hold my end of it whenever all of a sudden that happens, but it's impossible. So. Um, Yeah, just knowing that it's not just going to be the words I say. I got to go out and practice during the week like a leader. I got to go out and interact with my teammates, the people in the front office like a leader. Just everything matters was one of my main takeaways.
All right. Last two things then. And I'll put you on the spot here a little bit. Like you guys have a tough start to the season, right? You got to go to San Francisco, then got to go to Tennessee, then short week back against the Patriots first 3 weeks. Have you set long-term individual and team goals for 2024, like what you want to accomplish in 2024?
I just know we want to get to the playoffs. I want to get to the playoffs. I want to be part of a team that gets to that second season. And once you get to that second season, who knows how it's going to play out? Who knows what's going to happen? Um, we'll be ready to go. I'm confident in that. But that's the main goal. I'm confident if we go about things the right way and we get to where we get to the playoffs, the production will, happen. It'll all take care of itself. And the number one focus this year is just let's get to the playoffs and let's see where we're at and go attack what our ultimate, goal is.
All right. And then I'm going to ask you a selfish question because we went to the same school 20 years apart.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to ask you to go back to Paul Warfield or Chris Carter or anything like that. But if you look at the last 10 years, obviously there's been a lot of production in the NFL from Ohio State receivers. Who's the best one of the last decade?
Probably Michael Thomas, man. He was one of the first receivers to get that huge contract. The production obviously was incredible coming out of school, and just an all-around great Buckeye. I know he was a huge part in me committing to the Buckeyes, him coming back and having conversations with the recruits and just doing everything that matters, all the little things that, are off the field, stuff like that. As receivers, you're watching and you see that and you hope to emulate it. So Michael Thomas, man,
Who,
he's gone out and done it.
who's the best one? Who was the best one as a college player then?
Marvin Harrison,
Okay.
got to watch him the last 2, 3 years, and he's special, man. And I'm confident that'll continue for the Cardinals.
They got a pretty good one there now too that could challenge him, it looks like. So
Yeah, yeah. Jeremiah is a special man, and the Mecca's still there.
yeah.
Tate. I mean, they got a great room, but yeah, the true freshman they got in is he's coming.
All right. So that's Garrett Wilson, star receiver for the Jets. They open on Monday night against the San Francisco 49ers, defending NFC champs. He's here for Dr. Teals. Thanks a lot, Garrett. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate you, Albert. Thanks for having me on, man.